Welcome to English with Leanne. Today's idiom is to fight fire with fire. And what this means is that when you are fighting or battling with someone or disagreeing, that you should fight them in the same way they are fighting you. Now, you might think, oh, fight fire. Firefighters fight fire. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about actual fire. We are talking about weapons, guns. So, when we fight fire with fire, this idiom comes from when we first had guns, you could not win with bow and arrows. You also needed to use guns. You needed to use a weapon that was just as dangerous as the other person was using. So that's the origin of to fight fire with fire, is having to use a weapon just as dangerous as the other person. Because when you shoot a gun, we also call that to fire a gun. So this is another one of our gun-based idioms. I'll go ahead and link other idioms that either have to do with fire or guns or fighting in the description below. And examples of to fight fire with fire. You might say, oh, you can't ignore them. You need to fight fire with fire. And that's saying you can't just do nothing. You need to fight back. And you need to fight back in the same way that they are fighting. It could be with words. It could be using certain techniques to stop the other people. Don't need guns. It does not need to have guns. It just means that you have to respond in the same type of fighting as the other person. Another example of this would be in the negative, and you might say, I don't think fighting fire with fire is the way to go here. I think that's only going to make things worse. And here you're saying that you should not fight back in the same way. Maybe you should fight back in a different way. And normally that would mean maybe not as violent of a way or not as aggressive of a way. So to fight fire with fire does come originally from when we started using guns to fight. It does not have to do with fire, as in the hot stuff that burns. And it doesn't have to do with adding fire to make more fire. That's not even what it's about. It is about fighting back in the same way as the person you are disagreeing with. Good luck using this idiom.